Uh, Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the sixth session of the Committee on Trade and Investment will start soon. May I kindly ask you to assume your seat? Thank you. Okay, distinguished delegations, the meeting will start now. I have the pleasure to announce the arrival of the Executive Secretary of ESCAP, Ms. Amira Salsia Ali Shabana, and the Director General of the Trade Policy and Strategy Office of the Ministry of Commerce of the Government of Thailand, Ms. Pimchanok Vongkopon. So distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Mark Brocksch. I'm the Chief of the Investment and Enterprise Development section of the Trade, Investment and Innovation Division of ESCAP. I welcome you all to the opening session of the sixth session of the Committee on Trade and Investment, which will now begin. So I have the pleasure to invite Ms. Amida Salsia Ali Shabana, the United Nations Under-Secretary General and Executive Secretary of the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, to make a welcoming address.
Madam Pimchanok Vongkopon, Director General Trade Policy and Strategy Office, Ministry of Commerce, Thailand. Excellencies, very distinguished delegates, welcome to the Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific and to the sixth session of the Committee on Trade and Investment. I'm pleased to be with you to consider some of the challenges to free trade and investment in our region, take stock of ESCAP's ongoing response, and to set out some of the areas where, under the guidance of this committee, more could be done. The benefits of international trade and investment have brought Asia and the Pacific should never be taken for granted. They have powered growth, lifted millions out of poverty, and established our region as an economic powerhouse. The countries you represent include some of the world's leading merchandise and services traders. Many are considerable sources of foreign direct investment. So our region naturally took a leading role in placing international trade and investment at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Yet the international consensus, which for decades held free trade as a force for good, is fraying. As the world's center of economic gravity shifted to our region, there has been a backlash against a multilateral approach to governing trade and investment. The logic of promoting a universal, rules-based, open, non-discriminatory, and equitable multilateral trading system under the WTO is being challenged. International trade tensions have increased to everyone's loss. New protectionist measures will lead to a sharp slowdown in trade growth and foreign direct investment in the region. They will feed into a slowdown of economic growth. To compound matters, a variety of non-tariff measures are being utilized. Often opaque, these are formidable barriers to smaller businesses wishing to expand into new markets. Combined with increased restrictions on foreign direct investment and existing concern about migration, these measures could weigh significantly on sustainable development. At ESCAP, we have worked to ensure an informed regional picture is available for policymakers navigating a rapidly changing trade and investment environment. With this in mind, we have assessed the potential impact of trade tensions and demonstrated the degree to which regional integration could be a powerful stabilizing force. Our analysis demonstrates how regional integration initiatives, such as the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, would offset economic losses caused by further international trade tensions. Facilitating regional integration lies at the heart of ESCAP's mandate. We provide the Secretariat to the Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement, or APTA. Its members are about to start a fifth round of negotiations for a deeper trade and investment relationship. ESCAP member states have also recently adopted the Framework Agreement on Facilitation of Cross-Border Paperless Trade. This will support digital trade facilitation and holds great promise for increased intra-regional commercial exchanges. Avoiding non-tariff measures becoming entrenched barriers to sustainable development has determined the focus of this year's Trade and Investment Week and the forthcoming Asia-Pacific Trade and Investment Report. It underpins our work with the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, or UNCTAD, to build countries' capacity to rationalize non-tariff measures and support sustainable development. We are working with the International Trade Center to improve data and understanding of the impact of non-tariff measures from businesses' perspective. ESCAP has pressed ahead with the development of online tools such as the Online Trade Intelligence and Negotiation Advisor. These can process trade and other data needed to inform positions during trade negotiations. We continue to provide technical assistance to countries with special needs in support of facilitating FDI for sustainable development. Country-specific FDI sustainability indicators are being developed to help countries prioritize FDI to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, as we look to the future, there are 4 areas in which this committee's guidance would be valuable. First, to support growth and prosperity, our region needs a rule-based, non-discriminatory open trading system. For that, we need to work together to reform the World Trade Organization. All countries in our region must be heard, very much including those with special needs. This committee can help develop the coherent positions needed to cut through. Second, I hope this committee can ensure we fully exploit existing agreements to deepen trade integration in our region. The Asia-Pacific Trade Agreement and the Framework Agreement for Trade Digitalization in Asia and the Pacific are a sound basis for further trade integration. Third, we look forward to your guidance on emerging issues. I've mentioned non-tariff measures, but e-commerce and more generally regulation of digital trade is a fast-growing sector which would benefit from a clearer regional approach. And finally, there remains great potential for FDI to be channeled better towards sustainable development initiatives. How to consolidate existing international investment agreements while maintaining fundamental investor protection deserves our consideration. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on all these issues. We are grateful for your continued support and cooperation. I wish you a very successful committee. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Ibu Hamida, for your welcoming address, which sets the stage for this morning's discussions. And I have the pleasure to invite Kung Pim Chanok, Phongkopon, Director General of the Trade Policy and Strategy Office of the Ministry of Commerce, Royal Government of Thailand, to deliver her opening address.
Good morning, Under Secretary General and Executive Secretary of ESCAP, ministers, ambassadors, and ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to put on my glasses. Good morning, everybody. It is with great pleasure today for me to be here to welcome you to Thailand, actually. On behalf of the Ministry of Commerce, I would like to express our deep appreciation to Madam Secretary, Under Secretary General, and to the ESCAP staff for the continuous support given to our region through your endless and various academic and policy contribution and other activities that have helped foster our development for the past decades. I am sorry that today my Deputy Minister, who is Acting Minister of Commerce, and cannot be here today to welcome you, to welcome Madam, and to welcome all the delegates because she's busy with meetings of ASEAN, but she has asked me to convey our warm welcome for everybody here to Thailand. To start with the issue that Kun Mia has kindly talked to me, I think the report that the ESCAP has produced that has been mentioned by Madam Under Secretary General is very valuable. The ESCAP CTI session this year is taking place amidst one of the most challenging periods of the global economy. Trade conflicts, protectionism, and rapid disruption through technology are just a few developments that have slowed down global trade in the past 2 years. Prior to this meeting, ESCAP has released this Asia Pacific Trade and Investment Report 2018, which I had I spent some time reading it, and I found that it has been very valuable in pointed out to impacts of the key factors on the trade in goods, services, and investment in the region. According to the study, Asia Pacific will be able to maintain positive developments on goods and services trade in the coming year, but maybe we would have some difficulties in attracting a new greenfield inward investment, except for some countries who are emerging as the winner in this current economic instability that are onsetting to our region as well as in the world. But at the same time, a trade war between the US and China, pardon me for mentioning the countries, but this ongoing conflicts has revealed some weaknesses of countries that are in their value chain of production. But at the same time, the trade war is also showing that there are benefits that could be gained from that could be gained for countries in the region. Particularly through the trade and investment diversion that is taking place in Asia and in North America. The impact of trade war on trade is felt by many countries, including Thailand. But today we're not discussing about Thailand. But I think from my work on trade policy, I think it is the trend towards protectionism is something that is very dangerous to the development of the global economy. And I ask indulgence of ESCAP delegates to consider this issue in your coming days on how to address reduce the effects of such a trade war. While the trade war and some other conflicts are going on, there are emerging economies in other regions that are experiencing financial, economic, and also some economic slowdown in many developed countries. I think this time is ripe for countries to get together and to find some way on how we can cope with these development together in the near future. So the report of ESCAP also pointed to some positive issues that I think are worth mentioning, such as increasing services trade in the region, the fact that intellectual property protection is expanding, the fact that e-commerce is growing in Asia Pacific, and also the emergence of technology, e-commerce, and digital economy that are developing fast in the region and has already been taken up by ESCAP. I think all these are positive signs that ESCAP member countries are adapting well to the changing in the world. But please allow me to give some of my views on what ESCAP members could be doing, not only ESCAP as an organization, in order to harness our strengths and to defer weaknesses that are occurring. First, I think the ESCAP region or Asia Pacific region should rethink the standard. I think non-tariff measures, as mentioned by Madam the Secretary General, are very important, and this is unfortunately is increasing in many Asia Pacific countries. We should earnestly address these non-tariff measures and start to forge regional standard or equivalence in state. Standards in any form, whether they are technical or SPS or sanitary measures, or more importantly and increasingly the social standards such as environment, labor, and corporate governance have become will be more and more important in the future of global trade. I think that it is time that the Asia Pacific must address the standard issues seriously. I noticed from the report and from Madam Secretary's address that the NTB has already been taken up by ESCAP, but I would like to emphasize that in the future, global trade and investment cannot we will not benefit a lot if we don't have standard. And I think this is one of the priorities that ESCAP members should take up in the near future. Second issue, I think we must think regionally. National boundaries and barriers are fast disappearing with the onset of technology and movement of persons and tourists around the world. The manufacturing sector is no longer situated in one country, but is scattered along the value chain. Market size of one country now may not generate enough economies of scale for production. So we must see ourselves, and we must think of ourselves as a region. We must operate and have strategy to see either ASEAN or Asia or Asia Pacific in this case as a region rather than think of ourselves as a national. In the future, the national, it will not be enough. We must think of how to harness and how to strengthen and integrate our region as a one base for trade and investment in the future. Third, I think we should harness connectivity. whether they are physical, digital, financial, or institutional connection. The Asia-Pacific countries may be geographically dispersed, but in the digital age, technology could bring countries closer together without physical contacts. Of course, e-commerce is such a main example of this, where you can, buyers and sellers can get together without having to see each other, without having to be together in one place. Payments can be made online in a blink. Digital connection has great potential to open opportunities for countries which are islands or not in close proximity to others. So connectivity is the key, is the third key that I think ESCAP members should consider. Fourthly, and this I have noticed that has not been mentioned by much by the report. I think in the future, people component or people development is going to be very important. We may have heard about stories about us being replaced by robot. Even government officials like me can be replaced by AI or automation. But I think anyway, we need people who in the future will have to live with these changes. We need to reskill, upskill, and also have human resources developed earnestly. We need, this will be a component that I think, I hope that ESCAP will accord a higher priority in the future. We need to build on the people. People development is the keyword that I want to leave here. And the last issue that I think ESCAP should accord high priority as well, but I'm sure that this issue has already been taken up by everybody here, is the regional linkage. This is a trend of the future. The bilateral FTAs have come of age. There would not be as many bilateral FTAs in the future. The future is region-to-region connectivity, region-to-region connection, and therefore I think building regional linkage is very important. I don't need to emphasize on this because this is a priority that ESCAP is doing. Just going quickly through what ASEAN is doing on some of these issues that I talked about, because Thailand is chairing ASEAN this year. So on the digital economy issue, we have put in place digital integration framework that covers many ecosystems required for the digital economy development. But the action plan is being drafted, and Thailand would put forward for its signature next month. So we will have a framework on digital integration framework, the digital integration framework. Coming with it is an agreement on electronic commerce, which was developed by Singapore last year, and Thailand would strengthen and expand on it this year. We also is taking issues on the fourth industrial revolution, which is technology-led reform in manufacturing and other activities. On this, the ASEAN Secretariat has commissioned ASEAN readiness for future production, and I think this report will be expanded and put into action this year as well. On services and investment liberalization, this has always been a key for ASEAN economic community. It will go on, and currently we have already agreed on the services liberalization plan using negative list approach. I used to be a services negotiator when I was in the Department of Trade Negotiations, and so I was very surprised that actually ASEAN has come together to have the negative list approach for services, so I congratulate them. So I'm coming to the last part of my presentation, which is what can ESCAP do to help countries in the region. Actually, I would cut down this part a little bit because Madam Secretary has already pointed out several issues that I have mentioned that ESCAP should do, such as understanding and utilizing FTAs and other regional arrangements. I'm sure that ESCAP is doing a very good job on that. I think that is something that we have to do in the future. So I would like to just leave two issues that are my view that ESCAP could do to assist member countries. The first one is ESCAP is in a good position to help strengthen institutional cooperation. I'm sure that ESCAP do this regularly too, but such a diversity of membership, ESCAP can even do more, I think, on this institutional cooperation. The world is going through a very unpredictable phase. As I am working on trade policy climate at the moment, I can tell you that we live in dangerous time, the years of living dangerously, as the movie title says. I think ESCAP members, which have a very mixed membership from developed and developing countries and least developed countries, you should focus on building cooperation together. No one country can go through this difficulty period alone. That's my belief. So I think the ESCAP can play a crucial role on forging cooperation and collaboration. Those are the keywords that I'm leaving for ESCAP: collaboration and cooperation for the future. And lastly, I think that there are some new emerging issues that Madam Secretary General has not mentioned. She has mentioned e-commerce and on I think digital economy. I just would like to add a few more items, Madam, that I think ESCAP should undertake in the near future. That is value chain. The weakness of countries such as Thailand being in the value chain of China and the US is so clear to me. I think this is the same that is happening in many Asian countries who do trade and investment. Value chain is complicated issues, and I think we would benefit more from support on academic work or on some kind of capacity building on understanding or how to expand value chain in the region. And second issue that I took a note from the report of the ESCAP is the fact that services trade is growing, but it has slightly shifted from traditional services, such as distribution or logistics, to things that are related to innovation. Intellectual property is related to services, and this side of services trade is growing. Innovation and digital economy related services, I think that that is another area of work that ESCAP can do in the future. So sorry for taking up too much time. I have those are just for my humble suggestion of what ESCAP can do, and I hope that the meeting here today and tomorrow, and you have 3 days meeting, isn't it? Oh, good luck, ESCAP, again for giving the Ministry of Commerce the opportunity and the honor to be here to welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kumpin Chanok, for your inspiring address. This concludes the opening statements, and I now have the pleasure to invite Ms. Mia Mikic, the Director of the Trade, Investment and Innovation Division, to conduct the election of the Bureau of the 6th session of the committee. Ms. Mikic.
Thank you very much for the very inspiring opening statements. We now proceed to the election of the Bureau of the 6th session of the Committee on Trade and Investment. As usual, I'm going to invite for the nominations from the floor. I'm just looking. May I invite the distinguished delegates from Myanmar?
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to nominate the following Bureau of the 6th section of the Committee on Trade and Investment. As Chair, I would like to nominate His Excellency Mr. Tumu Kulek Dux Bilsgan, sitting beside me, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative to ESCAP Embassy of Mongolia. As Vice Chair, Mr. Mohammed Badru Hassan Babu, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Bangladesh. Another Vice Chair, Ms. Krishma Narayan, Principal Trade Economist, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism of Fiji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, distinguished delegate from Myanmar. Do I see any other nominations? If none, does any delegation wish to second the nomination made by the distinguished delegate from Myanmar? Yeah, thank you very much. I recognize the distinguished delegate from the Russian Federation.
Dear delegates, on behalf of the Russian Federation, we would like to support these delegates. So we are sure that our deliberations will be fruitful and successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished delegate from the Russian Federation, for the secondment. Do I see any other delegations wishing to take the floor at this time? Sorry, the room is large, so I'm carefully looking. Okay, thank you very much. As I see no other delegation wishing to take the floor, I have the pleasure to announce that the following officials have been elected as the Bureau of the 6th session of the Committee on Trade and Investment. As a chair, His Excellency, Mr. Tumurkuleg Tuxbilugun, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative to ESCAP of Embassy of Mongolia. As a Vice Chair, Mr. Badrul Hassan Babul, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Bangladesh. And as another Vice Chair, Ms. Karishma Narayan, a Principal Trade Economist, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Tourism, Fiji. I would ask the delegates to congratulate the Bureau for the election. And I now have the pleasure to invite His Excellency, Mr. Tumurkuleg Tuxbilung, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary and Permanent Representative to ESCAP, Embassy of Mongolia, to assume the chair. Congratulations.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and privilege for me to serve as the chair of the 6th session of the Committee on Trade and Investment. On behalf of members of the Bureau and on my own behalf, I wish to express our appreciation to the distinguished representatives for the confidence you have placed in us. I'll do my best to ensure that this meeting achieves its objectives and reaches a successful conclusion. For this, I will rely on the cooperation and involvement of all the distinguished delegates and the able support of the members of the Bureau. We have many issues to discuss. Taking this opportunity, I express our sincere sympathy on the loss of lives of passengers on board of the Ethiopian Airlines flight from Addis Ababa to Nairobi last Sunday, which included at least 21 UN staff members at last count. I extend my heartfelt condolences to their families. Now, let me proceed with agenda item 1C, adoption of the agenda. We will take up agenda item 1C, adoption of the agenda is presented to you in the annotated provisional agenda document ESCAP/CTI/2019/L.1/RAV1. According to the program of the session, we will take up agenda items 4 and 5 and 6 in reverse order. May I invite now the comments from the floor? So if there are no comments, the agenda is contained in document ESCAP/CTI/2019/L.1 is adopted. So, shall we now move to group? Yeah. Now, I would like to invite all delegations for a group photo. So the Secretariat will announce the arrangements. And I request all delegates to come to the room at 10:15. 10 o'clock, sorry. Thank you. And yes.
Yes, I'll make the announcement how the group photo will be done. I also want to take this opportunity to make another announcement that you will see from the program there's no coffee break because we want to maximize the use of the interpreters for the full 3 hours from 9 to 12 o'clock. But anybody who should so desire, if you want to slip up and get your daily doses of caffeine, be warned that you pay a deposit of the cup. So when you're done, you pay, you think it's very expensive, you have to return the cup and you get your deposit of 100 baht back. Not everybody knows that. As far as the group photo is concerned, I invite all delegations to come in the semicircle here. The picture will be taken from the rostrum. So if you could kindly come here in front, then we will take that photograph. Thank you.
have to rush to another meeting. No, the minimum wage committee of Thailand.